All right, so just a reminder, we're going to have the Invest Edge today at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. So you'll come right to here. There'll be this logo will turn into a button. Be able to join the live stream. I don't remember who it's going to be today. Who is it going to be? Find out here in just a minute. And we're going to switch over to the whiteboard and charged here. How was everybody's weekend? Scott, did you walk another 20 miles? Deborah, did you do your push-ups? Diedrich, did you take your vitamins? Yeah, we've crossed a lot of deadlines. ATM started, ICM renewals are over, and we had our live education a week and a half ago. That was awesome. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So, speaking of deadlines and how people act with deadlines, I mean, whether you're internal or external, the deadlines still do their thing. So, I got to thinking, what are the next two major deadlines that we're working with here? All right, the next two major deadlines we are working with are the early bird expiring, right? And then the banquet cutoff. And so I think between completing ATM and then working on right here.
Teach you.
It's right here. Right, the guest ticket. I think this should be the highest priority other than completing your ATM challenge. The ATM is not easy. I get it, but it'll absolutely be worth it.
Hey Huggins, is ATM still available to purchase for new ICMs?
It sure is. You got till Friday to play catch up, and then they're going to give you a new round of info and assignments. So let me see if Richard, give me that link real quick. Yeah, there's some brand new people in. I've only been in Renatus for a couple months, and there's some people who've been in for over a decade. It's quite a collection of people in this round of ATM. So yeah, can play. Oh, Zoom's making me do this update too. Did y'all have to do Zoom updates this morning? Just me. Okay, so as soon as Richard sends me that link, we'll get it to you. What's up? Diedrich, you got a question, comment, idea?
Uh,
Okay.
oh no, I'm just hanging out, man. I pushed the button by mistake.
No worries. Happy to have you.
You bet.
Sweet. Okay, that's been updated. So something else, if you guys are interested, is this Wednesday. This Wednesday, Cosimo and I are going to do a mini learning blocks workshop. Okay, thanks, Google. Mini blocks, mini workshop on learning blocks, student blocks, professional blocks. So if you're interested in coming to that, it's going to be, let me just double check the calendar here. I think it's 5. Morning, Gilda. GM. 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, that's 6 p.m. Eastern for the learning blocks. Yep. So, if you guys are interested in getting some extra insight into how to take better notes, how to put together more information clearly, easily, succinctly, especially as we're picking up the pace with technology and new things that are coming in. Let's see if I can switch to this here. Nice. Now I'm back onto the iPad here. It's working. There we go. No echo. Excuse me. So, anyway, throughout the year, Cosmo and I have done this. Usually we go do it at like networking events, and then we show them Renatus in real estate. And then, they're like, well, how do I learn all this stuff? And then we show them the learning blocks thing. And then they go, oh, well, combined with Renatus and Genius, I should be able to get out of the rat race, which of course, that's the whole idea. And so Cosimo's used it in a great way to get some people interested in Renatus. I believe he's about to cross the $100,000 sales line for Renatus sales. Excuse me. So, if you want to come play with us, that's this Wednesday. Link is in the chat. If you're interested, you want to come play. At the end of it, there will be obviously a sales pitch for the Genius course. And the cool thing is that being a Renatus member, you get it at a discount through your back office. But anyway, he's going to be doing a lot of great technique, teaching, training, and one thing that I've gotten from attending these is reducing overwhelm. Bunch of new information is coming. Bunch of new information is coming. And then what our brain wants to do is say, pause, no more, and doesn't want to play that game. But life goes on, and we don't get to just pause the information. We have to have a better method for organizing it. So that's why things like this exist, because we're in a high information environment, especially when you're throwing on top of things like Renatus iOS and how to um, analyze stuff with AI. And we're looking at charts and we're getting new concepts and equations, and there's just so much that some people shut down. And I don't want you to shut down. I want you to thrive. And if keeping up with a bunch of these ideas and concepts is a little bit difficult, especially as more comes at you faster, then consider these workshops. I just realized this needs to be cleaned. Oh, there we go.
What time is that on Wednesday, Michael?
That'll be 6 p.m. Eastern. It's a 2-hour class.
Okay, thank you.
You betcha. And I know some of you have already taken the Genius course, so I think you really get a kick out of it. For those of you who haven't, I've seen so many people have a breakthrough at the end of it, just going, wow, I realized now I can actually handle a new career and not just want it, but actually make it a reality. And I've seen so many other people do that I want that for you too. So come join us Wednesday. Okay, let's switch over to the whiteboard now. Yep. What an interesting January we had, and now it's time to go into February. Let's switch over here, share, whiteboard. Oh, I gotta make myself a host. There we go. Someone sent me this article real quick before I go to the whiteboard. I want to show you this too. Warren Buffett has just liquidated his real estate holdings. Not all of them, not all of it, but he moved $200 billion into treasury bills. And I don't know why they decided to pick this as the picture. But basically what's happened here is 2.7 trillion in commercial loans need to be paid back in the next 20 months. These loans started at 4.3% interest, and now they're at 6.2. So, for example, $100 million hotel with 3.5 means 3.5 million in yearly interest. But if rates jump up, that's close to 7 million. But now the property valuation, which was bringing in 5 million, now loses 2 million a year, and it's no longer a $100 million property, but now a $48 million property because of the interest rates. Remember, it's based off of performance, and your interest is part of the performance. So, and then also with the National Association of Realtors being, they're changing how fees get paid, right? Trying to pay 6% for just putting up a listing, not going to happen. So AI is coming, robots are coming, and so my point is keep an eye on commercial opportunities, but then also us as real estate investors, okay, just looking for motivated sellers who can't refinance. But then also as marketers, as more AI agents come online and handle transactions, handle documentation, handle verification, what are all the title agents going to do and the rest of the real estate agents? They're going to be out of a job. Loan officers too. All those people have a real estate background. They got a real estate you know, they've tasted it before in their life, and so now it's a perfect transition. Invitation. Come over to the investor side. Stop playing in the retail side for just a commission, and own a couple of these darn buildings. So anyway, and then for those of you who understand blockchain, the title company is just an archaic analog version of a blockchain verification. And so it's, in my estimation, that there's going to be a line where we say, moving forward as a society, we're going to start using blockchain verification as a way to transfer title instead of a title company. And all the documents and everything's just going to be right there on chain. Sign it, and we're not going to need to pay $10,000 for title insurance or whatever it's not that much, but between all the fees that come from title and agents, it's going to be handled by technology. How many people are in title? Just in the title industry. Come over here to our sales navigator. We're just going to type in. Did it let me? It's catching up. Oh, guys, I'm going to get a new computer. This is ridiculous. So excited. And catch up. Yeah, wow. This is on X. This is for the rebels who don't want to play in the propaganda of Facebook, Eric. We like our propaganda to be up front and center and non-censored, so we go to X. That's me telling you I'm not being fooled. I know there's propaganda everywhere. But for sure, Facebook has more censorship issues than X. And so, okay, here we go. Title. Let's do this. Real estate title. How many people have real estate title? Let's just make sure we're in North America only. Not even North America, just the US. Okay, how many people have real estate title? 170,000 people. Remember, you only need 84 to make $1 million. Manuel, 23 years in the biz. Sorry, dude. Technology's gonna take it. All of these people need to be hit up. And then you just come in here and pick your city and filter down. But my point is, that's a lot of people. And, agents get it. Okay, a robot could do marketing. A website could do better marketing. But the title people are like, but we do verification. Right? We insure the stuff. We double, triple stamp everything. Yeah, but you still make mistakes, which is why I title insurance. And you take too damn long. You take too darn long. Too long. Right? We're selling a property right now. We're going on our third week. If it was on chain, it could have been done in 48 hours with no issues. Over 1 million people, real estate agents. Over 1 million real estate agents. So they've always been one of our targets, right? A lot of real estate agents are a part of Renatus. But my point is we can increase the urgency. Increase the urgency because we know what's coming. And I think the phrase is the writing is on the wall. Jim Rohn said there's 3 kinds of people. There are people who say, this is going to happen. There's a group of people say this is happening, and then there's a group of people that say what just happened. You don't want to be in that third group. Okay? You don't want to be in that third group. And so that's our message to these million folks out here, plus real estate agents. You know, and then appraisals, other than sending someone to look at camera, you know, take some pictures, what the appraiser does, running comps and everything, is it's the same thing. Inspectors are still going to be around, but I think appraisers, half of their job is going to be done by a robot. And title people, mortgage people. $110,000 mortgage officers, real estate mortgage. But I wonder if I put real estate loan, because you know mortgage is a $5 word. Loan is only, look at that, 250,000 if I put real estate loan. So plenty of people. You could be the champion, waving the flag. Come over here, come to Renatus, come be a real estate investor, come reduce your risk as you increase your assets. Join our program. Some people will say, nah, I already know it. I've been in real estate for 8 years, 20 years, whatever. Okay. But if you've been in it for 20 years, why aren't you rich? Why aren't you incredibly wealthy into millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in assets? If you've been doing it for 20 years. Just saying. Give my permission to ask that to anybody who says, no, I've been doing this for a while, I'm good. So you'll be good for a minute. Just a couple more minutes, but you know, college is pumping out these kids that understand technology, and they're getting incentivized to replace all the laborious parts of our economy with robots, with AI agents, with technology. They're being incentivized to do it. They're working harder on the technology than most people are working on their career. So of course, it's an inevitability. The opportunity is there, motivation is there. And do you want to make 10,000 a month or 100,000 a month? It just depends on how many people you can help see the writing on the wall and avoid a calamity of the highest order in their finances. Right? Some of these big title companies are going to be pitched by a tech company that says, hey, we can do 100,000 title searches in 5 minutes, and you can reduce your staff by 1,000 people. And they look at it and they go, oh, that's a $30 million savings in a year or more. Maybe we'll buy this technology for $1 million and save 30 million. Does anyone think that isn't going to happen? It's coming. Now, it might be a month. It might be 5 years from now. I don't know when. I just understand what. And kind of going on our topic this morning about deadlines and soft deadlines and hard deadlines, and what actually creates action inside the human is a real deadline. This will happen on this date, no matter what, or else. So take action. And so since we can't say that to title companies and to agents, hey, a robot's coming to take your job. Does everyone know what on-chain means? Maybe I go to the whiteboard and do my best to teach that, because you know what they say, if you can teach it, that means you definitely understand it. Does everyone understand on-chain when we say that phrase? Your documents will be on-chain, your transactions can be verified on-chain.
No.
Yeah, go ahead, Malcolm, because I know I can learn from it too.
Okay, cool.
I know what off the chain means.
Yeah.
Woo! Love it, Eric. Can always count on you. All right,
That'll be
so
Renatus off the chain.
I'm just catching up on the chats real quick. So Scott says the NAR lawsuit is a big talking point. Will shake out a lot of agents. That's it, man. And we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of that law changing and much more deadlines coming into effect. Now's the time to scoop up more business and save these hardworking real estate folks.
Hey, Huggins, speaking of deadlines, side note, is a lot of your renewal coming up?
Yes, and the way that the Saladio renewals will work is this going to be a rolling year. So unlike Renatus, where we say it's January for everybody, for Saladio, it's just the year from when you enrolled. Okay, so here goes Michael's first attempt at drawing on-chain explanations for real estate investors. Then what I could probably do is upload this images to another AI and have them turn it into a PowerPoint, because that's the world we live in. Okay, this will be awesome. On-chain. What will be even funnier is if anyone here understands it more than me, and then they go, Michael, you suck. No, I don't think that way. Let's refine this together. Okay, on-chain. Well, first let's talk about the current, and then we'll talk about the future. So when we want to go buy something, we got our buyer and we got our seller. And one reason why we are using a title company is to verify ownership. Right? We want a clean title. I'm not closing until we can verify there's a clean title. Yes, sir. Clean as can be. Okay, so verify ownership, clean title. Why else do we use title companies? We use them for escrow, right? For third-party holdings. So that the money is safe in a disinterested third party. Right? Escrow, third-party money holder.
Title
Okay.
insurance, we use it so in case something creeps up and you're protected.
Right. So title insurance is evidence that this sucks. True or not? Am I over exaggerating, or doesn't the existence of title insurance verify that ownership verification is not 100%? Because what it's really supposed to do is ownership verification is supposed to prevent double spend. Here's another way of saying it, right?
Well, it's not just ownership verification though, Michael. It's any type of easements, any type of deed restrictions, any type of liens or encumbrances upon the property that have been done without being recorded. So they can pop up later, right? And so
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get it.
if title transfers and there was a mechanics lien that was never finished prior to title transferring and the person just sold the house out from underneath the liens he was putting out there, like he's borrowing money against the house and they're not getting recorded,
Yeah.
then it sets the timeline as to when those people can record those liens. So then it doesn't transfer to the new owner, because all new owners who take title of any property inherit all liens. They inherit all encumbrances and they inherit all problems. So if they want to fix the house and there's already information out there that says that they can't fix the house without tearing it down, then that person would inherit it. So when they go through title, no one wants to buy a house like that. So title verifies ownership. That's the easiest part. It's going through all these systems throughout the country to figure out why it's a free and clear title, why there will be no more encumbrances. And it is almost impossible. I don't know how AI would be able to verify any more information than actual lawyers and title. You know, when the title agent is getting a title report, they don't do it. They send it down to legal. Legal does a title search. It takes 72 hours typically. And it's a legal department within the title company, which would be Security National Title, all these major companies. They have a huge legal department that does the research on the individuals of previous owners and so on and so forth in county records. And so, and public city records for any type of building and all that kind of stuff. So then they can draw up the title insurance policy, and you are forced to buy it for someone, for the new buyer. You have, as a seller, you buy that title insurance for them because you're guaranteeing that these things will not come up.
Right. So it's not necessarily it's going to replace the mechanisms. It's just going to speed up the time from 72 hours to 7 seconds.
Quite a chain would absolutely do that. These things would start to be, it would be proactive. We do it reactively, right? Oh, we don't know when someone's going to sell the house, so we're not really worried about what the hell the title is because it's going to keep changing from minute to minute. I could go borrow money in 30 seconds, and then they've already pulled the chain. But if it's on chain, then those transactions, other than the ones that are in thin air, if they're in thin air and they're never recorded, there's no type of legality involved, that's any public record, then the lien, the borrower, I should say, or the lender would be SOL because they didn't record it. But the minute anything is put into public record, AI would be able to pick it up and put it on the chain. And so it would always be there. And the minute it is taken off, the minute it's the lien is paid off, the minute the person's paid back, the minute it's forgiven, the debt's forgiven, any of those types of things that changes on the chain, it would automatically know, and it would be as if it was never existing.
So what you're saying is you can see for sure that AI will do some of this stuff, but it won't replace all the steps. It'll just speed everything up.
That's correct. And I think that the title companies are, they're insurance companies as well, right? They're one and the same. They're owned by Fidelity and that type of thing. So I believe that they probably have a division that is spending millions and millions of dollars to not only incorporate AI, but to protect themselves against AI. You know what I mean? So they don't become an obsolete division because they don't want to get rid of those fees, right? They're making money by having all those people on salary. They're not losing money, right? Because they're charging for all those people to do the work. So if they all of a sudden were handling transactions that weren't making them much money, it would be a dumb thing to do. They'd be like, let's just cut that division completely out of our system. So they're probably trying to come up with ways that they're gonna pass the buck of AI onto the consumer, which is the person buying and selling the house again. They're just gonna have to pay different people or different, they're gonna pay the people that you're talking about, the people that are being pumped out of college with the knowledge to be able to create and do AI are going to replace the title people who don't have AI experience. But they will still have the employees. It would just be a different division and a different type of employee would be my guess.
Real question. It's your option if you want to take title insurance though. If you've got AI and you're confident that there's no lien and everything's in order, you might opt out of title insurance. Just a question.
No, in America, the seller has to buy the seller buys the title insurance for. If you go through title or go through a lawyer, the lawyer doesn't pay for it. The title insurance company doesn't pay for it. The seller is guaranteeing to the buyer through title insurance that their property is going to be free and clear. That there will be no unforeseen, unseen, unrecognized, unfound liens against the property that will come up. They're telling them that they've disclosed all encumbrances, all liens, all title restrictions, all easements. Those things have all been disclosed according to the seller to the new buyer that they are aware of. So that's what title insurance does for the buyer.
So I think it's
Yeah.
two parts, right? The ownership verification is all past stuff. Title insurance is all future stuff. You say it that way.
Correct. Correct. Yep.
So Anthony, I
that's-
get what you're saying about, yeah, man, I'm confident that there's nothing wrong with the past. But, you know, we're pointing out that there is a gamble on the future because of mechanics, liens, et cetera, and people want to lie and pass a hot potato.
Correct. They just don't, they'll find some way to justify non-disclosure. Like they could be in a lawsuit that's not recorded yet, right? So, because there's no outcome yet. So this lawsuit could be somebody suing that particular owner for some sort of thing that they did or that wasn't being used properly or some sort of easement issue or whatever it is. And so in the meantime, the owner sells the property, doesn't tell anybody that this lawsuit's going on or that this potential, because one of the questions on a SPUDS is like, hey, do you know of any type of, future assessments that are going to happen to your HOA? And everybody's like, no, but maybe they got a letter or maybe they heard, we're at a board meeting and they think they're going to put a new roof on. And all of a sudden the owner buys it and gets an assessment a week later after they close on the house and they owe $50,000 for the roof. Like these types of things.
Yeah.
So those are the things that people just won't tell. So there is non-disclosure law. So naturally in a court of law, that person could be forced to buy the house back or pay the $50,000 as a seller if they can prove they knew about it. Right.
Yeah.
So the insurance covers that type of thing.
Wild stuff. And because it exists and people are short-sighted and selfish, they're going to do that kind of stuff and the only, I mean, right, this part right here will be AI driven. This AI is going to take.
It will be AI. Yeah, I would think AI would be able to find, just like in the movies, it's able to discover things that the human just doesn't even know to look for or where to look, or by the time they look, it's too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. How many more files, folders, all the way back to the Louisiana Purchase, AI can check in a matter of seconds. And then then that part of the folder, the closing documents, we can check off, say done. And then once the AI says, hey, we're clear here, issue the title insurance. What's the big deal? And because insurance is so profitable, because hardly ever do people have to activate it, but the threat of it being there is always there. So people are going to constantly buy the insurance. It's still a profitable segment of the transaction world that it's not going to go away. Plus, what Bill just pointed out is people are going to lie. People are going to hide stuff and pass the hot potato.
Yeah, they'll justify a way of non-disclosure. I mean, it's just human nature. They definitely don't want to pay for it. That's why they're selling the house. You know what I mean? There's some, you know what I mean? So, and again, the buyer is forced to, when the buyer gets a loan, even typically even if it's private money loan, right? The buyer pays for what you would call Alta insurance. That's the insurance that is for the lender. It's lender's insurance. So it's you're promising the person, the bank, the lender, the whatever, that the money you're borrowing is going to be in first position on the house and there's no other encumbrances and nothing's going to be in their way. So if they have to foreclose on you, then they don't have to pay anybody off in the meantime except taxes. Everybody knows that taxes in first position. And that's why if you don't pay your property tax, the lender will step in, pay the property tax on your behalf, and then your mortgage payment will go up every month until you pay them back for the taxes you didn't pay. Okay, because they're made aware when the taxes are late. So if you don't have it impounded, but the seller has to in the United States, the seller has to buy title insurance for the buyer. You can't get around it unless you don't go through title and you don't go through a lawyer. So if you don't use, if I just gave you my house and I gave you a warranty deed and you gave me $100,000, Michael, then we're not using insurance and you're taking the risk that I'm guaranteeing you through a warranty deed, which is what I'm saying. On paper, I'm saying that. So you could sue me if something comes up, but then you have to sue me. You don't have any insurance to collect while you're suing me. So in the meantime, you're screwed, and someone could come claim the ownership of your house because you trusted me without insurance, or you did your own due diligence. So I do a limited title pull. When I take over subject to and owner financing, I do a limited title pull. I'll pay my title company $50 or $75 to do a preliminary title search, but they don't teach me anything on it. I have to know how to read a preliminary title search and understand the 38 pages that comes through as to what I'm looking for if there's other encumbrances on there, right? And if you build a relationship, then of course there's a Cliff Notes on the title insurance. I mean, on the title report, and I can just ask my title gal, okay, what are the Cliff Notes? So I don't have to go and research it all. But we have to pay for title insurance if we go through an attorney or anything, because it takes the title company off the hook. The title company essentially is doing this entirely risk-free. The seller's taking all the risk.
And you're talking specifically on that type of subject to acquisition.
No, I'm talking about any acquisition. When it's not subject to and it's not owner financing, then it's new financing typically, or cash. But the buyer still wants to have a clean title, right? They still want to know that nothing else is ever going to pop up afterwards. But if me and you are doing a transaction on our own, like when I go to my sellers and I say, and so the only reason I would do title without title insurance and stuff, and I would buy a house, would be because I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay $4,000 extra at closing. So I'm buying a guy's house and he's going to let me take over the mortgage. So I have him sign the documents that I need, and we do it all in-house. We do it in his kitchen. And then he signs a warranty deed. Then we go to the bank and he gets it notarized, and he's warranting me, not quit claiming. He's warranting me the property. And I give him a wire for $100,000, whatever it is. Then now I own the property. As long as I go record it, I'm the new owner. But let's just say there was some option to buy it first, and all of a sudden I record and I never checked and I didn't see an option because I didn't do title insurance. I mean, I didn't go through title. I didn't do a title report. I just trusted the guy and asked him, hey, did you sell this house to anybody else? Did you borrow any money from anybody else and put a lien on the property? Do you know if there's any other lien? No, I don't know any of that. No, I never did that. You're the only person I've ever sold a house. The only loan I ever had was the bank when I bought it, but he doesn't know his wife took out a second line of credit or something, or borrowed money from the neighbor and put a lien on the property and never told you. You inherit those liens as a new buyer. So I still do a thorough one, but it's a very cheap preliminary title report that I pull from my title company for a small fee. And then I look myself to see. I don't go down to county records and search through the whole thing manually. I look up county assessor.
Well, yeah, but the reason why you're not looking back manually through the county is because you're verifying, you're at least trusting that the last transaction was completely clean, right?
Correct.
That they got their title insurance, that some big lender came in and did everything neat, clean, and organized.
Absolutely.
So,
but if it's if they've been on title for 15 years, a lot of things change, right? And a lot of mistakes are made. And sometimes loans get paid off and don't get recorded that they're paid off. Or a lot of times loans get taken out and they don't get recorded for some reason. And it could even be regular banks. It could be second lines of credit from a local credit union that just knows the people, and and they didn't record it, but they still have a lien against the property because they still sign the documents. So it's just little things like that. It's really rare. It's very rare, especially in today's day and age.
Right, but if you had looked at the title report and you had seen that it had been seller financed 5 times in the last 75 years, you couldn't trust it the same way as if they had just gotten an FHA mortgage 2 or 3 years ago, and the
100%
of being able to subject to something like that.
Right. Then you'd want to look for, lien payoffs and you'd want to look for lien releases and all that kind of stuff on the title report that, although the liens were recorded, they were also released. And then you'd want to talk to that guy and say, what paperwork do you have to release this? So yeah, it's a pain in the ass. So in that case, when a red flag would come up, you would just go to title and buy the insurance and have the title pull the whole report and pay for it.
Right.
You still do the transaction subject to, it's still legal. You still do owner financing, still legal. They all still handle it. Well, not every one of them, but the interesting thing is, like I said, most title companies, major title companies, even some of the smaller ones, are owned by insurance companies, the major insurance companies, or their affiliates, right? So when they're writing title insurance, they're writing their own title insurance and get paid for it. Do you know what I mean? It's all in house. It's
It's pretty-
Fidelity and Nationwide. They all own these major title companies.
Right. So the insurance side is not going to go away because it's so profitable. Just like insurance on your washer and dryer, or insurance.
Yeah,
Like it's so profitable.
yeah,
But yeah, I guess part of what we're saying is that, let's say things start getting put onto chain, like probably the safest one, the cleanest ones, the most scrutinized, I guess I would say, are FHA transactions. And that those might be the first to get put onto a chain, because we can say from here moving forward that we, all eyeballs looked at this, everyone did their double, triple checks. So now we're saying from here moving forward, everything in the past is neat and clean and organized. So we're going to take all of those documents, all of the last to the Louisiana purchase, if I can spell Louisiana, and all the way back to Louisiana purchase for a big part of the nation. It's going to say it went from King Henry of France to the United States government, to Joey, Bill, Bob, to Fred, to Joe, to Gina, all the way up to today. And all of those transactions are all still technically there in a book somewhere in your county. And, some people's jobs is to digitize this now. Every time you go and record it, they scan it in. I go down to the county. I was just down there 2 weeks ago, and they have these giant books, 2.5 feet to 3 foot tall books, giant things you lay out on this giant counter to look at the deed dates going forward until today's mine. And now I'm taking that and selling a piece, right? So all of those books, we could just timestamp it and say this was all true as of this date. And what will happen is that timestamp would just be one of these lines here, just be a timestamp. And would just say true moving forward. This is true. It's immutable. It's now been put onto this blockchain. It cannot be fudged with, just like down at the county, it cannot be fudged with. It's in that big book.
right.
So people's jobs, I think, are going to be to onboard it and start putting it onto a chain. And that my guess is FHA is going to be the first to do it because it has the least amount of risk and the most verification. And, that's a big portion of America's purchasing anyway, is through FHA. So anyway, more to come on this topic. There's so many other things are already on chain now that it's just a matter of time for real estate to make this happen. Excuse me. The money. So then on the blockchain, what it's saying is that if this is true, then moving forward, we don't need to go back and verify like what title is doing. We don't need to go back and do this type of verification, right? This type of verification is done by just saying true here. So then we can carry forward and say, yes, it'll be like getting a warranty deed, getting it notarized, and getting it recorded. It'll just say true, check the box, move forward in an instant, instead of running around town, goofing around with physical papers. And part of the notary job is to say, yes, you are you. And so one thing on the blockchain is you're going to have a user ID, right? It's going to probably be called an address, but User ID, same thing. And it's going to say user ID was this owner. Now user ID is the new owner. It'll just go from the old owner to the new owner. And instead
Yeah,
of
there'll probably be a human or a robot verification system. Like when I can't remember what government document it was I just did. It was for the courts. I can't remember, but
Bill, you just went silent. I think we lost him.
verification and guarantees that the person signing is the person that actually owns the property and that sort of thing. But it was gone through a three-step proofing process. And so, you know, eventually that person, instead of there being somebody sitting at their house waiting to do this all over the country and all over the world and verify that these people are them without driving to their house, they're on camera and on a you know, verified, recorded platform, you know, that is government agency, you know, what it protected and, you know, it's guaranteed and all that stuff, right? And then you're on there. There'll probably be a robot doing that verification in the future, would be my guess. But that you'll still have to verify by camera and you know that you're the one signing, that you are who you are, and that your ID matches your actual face, unless they can get that facial recognition on there permanently, so you could just pop up on your computer, do some sort of login verification or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
once it's done once, it's done forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the same KYC verification for going onto a crypto exchange. Like they need to know who you are before you get assigned
Yeah.
this, that, or the other stock or whatever. And it's the same.
Yeah, crypto
it's
exchange is they're pretty high tech, man. They've covered a lot of the bases on crypto exchange. You can't just go buy and sell. You know what I mean? It's
tricky. There is a way,
it's
but
legit.
99% of people are just gonna do KYC, know your customer. And DocuSign and companies like that, I forget the other one that's big too. They give you, you know, this huge chain of characters, you know, 26, 80 characters long.
Oh yeah.
When you
Yeah.
timestamp a DocuSign. So it's similar to that type of address verification. They would just add that DocuSign to one of the steps in here, one of the DocuSign, yep, done. And so they don't have to go back and look at all of them, because they're saying part of the benefit of a blockchain, guys, is you don't have to go back to the beginning like title companies do. You just go to the last timestamp, which could have been yesterday. And that speeds everything up too, because they're saying up until this second of yesterday, everything is true. Did anything happen in the last 24 hours? If no, then carry it forward that it's true again. And so anyway, it'll speed a lot of things up. It will replace some people. AI is definitely going to replace title agent or real estate agents, because sales is done on websites more often than not these days. And the reason why you get an agent, so you don't get fooled, but you're not going to get fooled if things are on the chain. So anyway, I got to run.
Yeah, you better go.
It's an exciting conversation. We'll continue this, guys. So go out there, recruit, get paid, change lives. Appreciate it.
I'm on Invest Edge today, just so you guys know. It's pretty cool.
Bill is on Invest Edge. You better get all your customers, everybody who's interested,
Better
4 p.m.
do that.
Mountain Time. That'll be awesome. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Cool.
Go be
Thank you
productive.
very much. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.